Hello and welcome to the January live stream for Pixels. This is going to be an exciting one because we are going to walk through the reward redeeming process, and I will also, as part of it, show you a bunch of pictures and videos of Pixels dice. So the plan for today is a quick update on production, which honestly, there isn't a lot that wasn't mentioned in the short update from last week. Then a walkthrough of the reward redeem process with, spending a bit of time looking at dice. And then basically a general Q&A of questions on the stream or that have been already posted on the Google form. So I hope you're excited. This is a very, very exciting, to say it again, time, because the rewards will be opening next week. So I'll talk about it more in just a minute. First, let's go over a few production updates, which will start with the large charging case and sets. So we mentioned, that because of production delays, etc., the sets will be coming a little bit later. There's nothing different here, but I got a few pictures to show the manufacturing process, and I figured those are always fun to share. It's going to look like machinery, but it's better than nothing. So this is how they, that desktop, there we go. This is how they form the mold for the large charging case and most plastic pieces in general. So here, the little part, the copper part here is actually eroding material from the big steel piece in the bottom, right, in certain shapes. And this is how they get like super precise shapes and everything. It's super cool. If you like anything about manufacturing, it's super fun. And here it's literally like using the power of electricity to form molds. So for instance, if I just kill this and open this, you can see essentially it's forming these little shapes here, which these are just the shapes for little buttons on the side of the cases. This is the same machine. Oop. I don't need sound. You probably don't have it. And yeah, so anyway, it's being manufactured. So we'll have, charging case, plastic parts very soon, and we'll be able to actually put together the sets and etc. so that we can ship them to you. Otherwise, as we mentioned, we've delivered dice to the let me close this for a second. Delivered dice to the fulfillment partner. We have more on the way. Everything is looking good, and hopefully, nothing bad happens. With production, we're just gonna keep ramping up and be able to fulfill all your rewards really soon. Let me think if there was anything else related to production. Oh, you will see also a couple accessories that we are going to offer in the reward redemption. So without further ado, then let me walk you through the reward redemption process. And it starts, so if I go back to my desktop and I open my browser, where did I put it? Here we go. Right, it starts with you receiving an email. Emails will start going out on Monday, January 8th. Because there's a lot of backers and we don't want to completely overwhelm the system, you're probably not going to get it all at the same time. They will sort of, be sent out throughout the day. But you should receive an email from contact@gamewithpixels, and of course, if you don't see it, don't freak out. Maybe later in the day or the next day, you know, make sure it's not in your spam folder or anything like that, the usual stuff. If not, you can always contact us through various means. You know, get on Discord is, you know, something we really enjoy, or there will be links for, you know, contacting us on the website. So anyway, so you will receive an email from Pixels that will basically tell you to redeem your rewards. And the process starts by essentially, you know, matching your account on the Pixels website with the email, the Kickstarter email that you used. So we actually will pre-fill it for you, right? From the record that we have and that we used to send you the email in the first place. And you will be able to change it, you know, in the future. I would recommend waiting until after you've gone through the redeeming process, just to, you know, prevent any complications. But it's just like any account, you know, once you have an account, you'll be able to change your email. So I will, you know, I used a temporary email here, so I don't know what that name is from. It's from the service that I use to get a temporary email. But let's say, you know, I create my account. That's my name and a password, which, of course, it's going to want a strong password. So I will generate one real quick. Here, password generator. 1 second. Copy. Okay. I'll just create a good password. Always use strong passwords. So this is the portion where now we're verifying that you are indeed who you say you are, right? And you're not trying to steal somebody else's account, right, by just entering their email. So if I go back to my temporary inbox, just take 1 second. And okay, and now I have the email telling me that my account is being created and I need to verify it, right? So if I click here, I will verify my account and be able to start the reward redeeming process. Once your account has been activated, it will take you to your My Account page. If for whatever reason you navigate away or whatever, you know, you just need to get back on this site and click on the My Account button, right? And if you're logged in and it'll recognize you as a backer, you will be able to just, you know, click this Redeem Reward button. All right, so for the purposes of this demo, I made an account. I am backer number 2, not number 1. And, you know, I pledged for 2 sets and 2 dice and 1 add-on. And I even added a bonus, you know, a cash bonus pledge, basically. And so this will summarize, you know, what we know about your Kickstarter pledge, and then, you know, translate it into basically what you will have to select today, which is, in my case, 2 sets, 3 dice, and I will get a store credit of $100, which, you know, might help me for paying for shipping or whatever. You can always decide to convert your pledge to a store credit instead. But be aware that, you know, that's a non sort of undoable action, right? If you do decide to do this, you know, you will get, you know, your pledge converted to store credit, and then all your quote unquote backer information, you know, erased. And, you know, you will have to pay for items at the current store price. So just be aware that you beware of that if you decide to convert to a store credit. I don't expect many people will actually want to do that. So here, I'm going to select my reward items. And the flow, I think I've shown on the stream before. I can't remember exactly, but I think I have, or we've shown screenshots or something. If this wants to load, okay, good. I'm gonna have to zoom out so it fits on the screen. Sorry, it's too small for you guys. Okay, so the reward selection, it should be straightforward. Hopefully it makes sense to everyone. I'll close this, don't need that. you know, basically select what specific set and color and dice and color you want for each reward item, right? So here, for instance, I first have to select my 2 sets and then 3 dice and then move on. So for instance, you know, let's say my first set, I want a clear, you know, RPG set. It, you know, shows me what it looks like here. You have the different color selections, which obviously you can update. And if you want to know more, there's a handy link here, which will open a new tab with the more images of every set and every die, including videos and everything. Here, let me put this up a little bit. So for instance, here we have the different sets, and you can see videos of each set, you know, lighting up in sequence. So this is the RPG set, your standard dice set. And you can see, you know, a few different patterns just for fun. You can see now this is the Aurora Sky, etc. Right? You can also click on the pictures, right, if you want, and zoom in. So this is the Midnight Galaxy. This one here is the Hematite and the Onyx, right? Clear, beautiful. So yeah, I encourage you to, you know, actually take a look at all the sets and all the dice on this page. It's a media heavy page, so it's going to take a minute to load. But, you know, the good part is you can see every, you know, clear pictures of every single die on and off, and, you know, actually in video, you know, to see what the lights feel like. Because, you know, especially with sets like the Aurora Sky, they're so blown out that pictures are difficult. And so instead, videos kind of give you the feel for it, even though they're also blown out. But it just works. Here, right? So this is a video, sorry, a picture, but in video you can really see like how bright it is and awesome looking it is. So anyway, tons and tons of pictures, you know, obviously the D20s, which we expect will be the most popular, and you have all your options. So anyway, I'm gonna go back through here and actually make my selections. So let's say I want an RPG set in clear for my first selection. Then maybe I want the advantage set. So this one is the set that has 2 D20s for my second selection. Details are always, you know, indicated here, what the sets contain, right? So, or maybe I want the power set, which has like a bunch of D8s and D6s. You know what? Let's just pick that one. And then for my dice, I will pick maybe an Onyx D20, a Midnight Galaxy D8 for the second one, and then a clear Pip D6. There we go. Right. So once you've made all your selection, you get to the confirmation screen that, you know, summarizes everything. If you need to make any changes, you can just go back, you know, edit and etc. Right. So once you're happy with your selection, click confirm rewards, and you can move on to the next step. Just give it a second to load. I wonder if my streaming is actually hurting here. Interesting. All right, so now the rewards have been added to my cart. I can, you know, move to the next section, which is, you know, selecting any sort of add-on you know, regretted you didn't get during the Kickstarter, or new accessories that we are offering. And here are the first 2 accessories. I'm going to start with this one, which is a dice tray. This dice tray is made, you know, specifically for Pixels. Obviously, it's clear, as you can see, so people can see your dice at all times. It has reversible mat on the bottom, right, with two different designs. And, you know, it doesn't use any magnets for closing, right, because magnets would be kind of a problem for Pixels. So once you get on the website, there are videos of me rolling dice in this tray, so you can see what it looks like and hear it. In this case, a lot of videos don't have sounds, but these do. And on the different dice pages, there's actually videos of me rolling them as well. Yeah, so that's the dice tray that you can pick. If I go back to the add-ons, there's also storage bags. And these will make a lot of sense very quickly. Essentially, we offer two sizes. One is a long, long boy that is meant to fit around like your set charging case, right? So it's kind of like additional protection / a way to carry the set with like a cable maybe, or other accessories, anything you want. And of course we have the sort of like smaller squarish singles bag, which is meant for holding maybe singles charging cases, right? And then a bunch of dice, of course. So if I go back to the selection, you can of course obviously also add more dice. So for instance, if I want to add a single d20, I can do this right now. And in fact, there are usually more pictures in this page for the individual dice, especially the d20s, and you can just add it to your cart here. One note on the pricing, which is something you're probably noticing as you're watching this. Let me go back to the shop. 1 second. The singles are now, the singles and the sets are more expensive than they were during the Kickstarter. That really shouldn't surprise anybody. Kickstarter was 3 years ago, almost 2.5, something like that, and things have cost more to make now, and the materials, parts, whatever you want to call it, right, did go up. However, we are happy to say that if you are a backer, you are getting 2 15% discounts, added on together, right? So basically you're getting 30% off every item in the shop, which brings the prices closer to what they were during the campaign. The sets are slightly more even with that than they were in the campaign, and that's purely because essentially they were underpriced at the time based on what they are, and how much goes into making them, right? The case itself is not cheap. It's still a better deal, right, if you're going to buy a RPG set, for instance, to get it as a set, because you're getting essentially 7 dice plus a charging case and like a battery powered charging case, or we've been over that, for the price of basically 6 singles, right? So it's totally worth it. But yeah, just wanted to sort of go over the explanations for the different prices, right? But anyway, so here's essentially the shop. It is only available to backers at the moment. It will open for general pre-orders much later, but you guys are free to go redeem your rewards, add anything you want, and then you can check out. So that's what I'm going to do here, right? Actually, you know what? Just for demo purposes, I'm going to add another die. So let's see. I want to add an Aurora Sky D20. Okay, pre-order. And then there we go. Oh, try again. Okay. All right, so now I am looking at my cart, and you can see all the items from my rewards are here. They have a price of 0, and I can't change the quantity, of course, etc. If I change my mind at this point, I can always just remove them from the cart and basically go through the redeem reward process again. And then, of course, there's this single Aurora D20 that I added that is here, and I can, same thing. One thing that I am very happy to announce is that we are going to offer split shipping option. So it will be up to you. This is something I wasn't sure I would be able to do, but you know, put a little extra time into it, and finally was able to figure out how to make it work and make it work with our, you know, fulfillment partner, etc. So if you have dice and sets in your order, reward or no reward, right, independent of whether they're a reward item or not, you will be able to decide if you want all your items shipped together as soon as everything is ready, or if you would like your singles shipped first when they're ready, you know, and then the sets later. So for instance, if I click, you know, split shipping here, I will have to, I have to actually put in a shipping option. So let's say I am gonna go to where my mama is. So my mom lives in France, because, you know, why not use the US? And I know this code by heart. So if I'd select, right, split shipping to France, then I have two shipping boxes basically, and it will, let me zoom in some more if I can. There we go. It will detail specifically, you know, what goes in each package, you know, what it's going to ship with, and etc. Because I am in France, in this in this example, I do have to pay the import duty, you know, I don't think it's the VAT. I think it's still the import duty, because it's actually an import, which in France happens to be, you know, 20%. It's really high, right? That's unfortunate, but that is sort of how it has to work, right? The fact that, you know, I'm not paying anything for most of my order here really doesn't, like, the customs don't care, right? The item has a value, and so that has to be used to calculate it. So apologies for the hurt. You know, we mentioned it, you know, like even from the campaign, that, you know, if you're outside the US, you probably will have to pay customs, right? Here, the only difference is we can actually prepay it for you, right? And so when you get your package, you don't have to go to the post office and actually, you know, make a payment. If I change my address to the US, you know, we get a huge advantage here. Let's say I'm in Florida, because why not? This doesn't matter. And I update to shipping here. All right, so there's the shipping. And here in the US, we have a huge advantage that we don't not have to pay import duties. So, you know, and if I select ship together, then yeah, there's my cost, my total, and I can check out, right? So now if I check out, I enter all my information. This is a regular e-commerce, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? E-commerce experience. You know, I'm not actually going to plug in my address because I don't want you guys to see it. But, you know, all the details are here. You can pay, you know, with your store credit or credit card or PayPal, and then you place your order, and that's it. So, you know, I'm sure people have more questions, so I will probably switch to that. Of course, the rest of the website is available for anyone to visit, but the shop is restricted for logged in backers only at the moment. Let me unzoom this. You know, so I encourage you guys to go visit the website, you know, play around with some of the the items we have in there. And you know, mostly, you know, for backers, there's no particularly new information here. The most relevant thing is this view more images that you can access while you select your rewards. So tons and tons of pictures. I hope you will enjoy debating which ones you want or you prefer. And now I think I will switch to Q&A. Yeah, this was a pretty long demo actually. So yeah, let me switch over while I answer Q&A to this camera. There we go. Hey, look at that. Nice dice tray. So I want to go over the questions that I get on the stream, and I will answer them one at a time. While I do this, maybe put more dice in the tray. There we go. Anyway, all right. So let me see. Let me move this over here so I'm closer. There we go. All right. So this came in on the Google form from Mike. With the large charging case being delayed, will backers of a single die and sets be able to split their order and get their single die at the start of fulfillment, or will they need to wait until the issue with the large charging cases are sorted to receive their rewards? So I think I just answered that. You can select, you know, if you want to receive your order first, your singles first, or if you want to wait for everything to come together. From Jeff Sindel on Google Form also, are there any dev kits available? I'm interested in developing for Pixels Dice, back to Kickstarter, but not at the dev level. There are no real dev kits available, but you know, as I said, every pixel is a dev kit. So as soon as you get pixels in your hand, you'll be able to you know, develop no issue. So, and hopefully that will be very soon. Pablo George Maciel? Yeah. How do you plan to send the sets to Brazil? Unfortunately, all international purchases are being heavily taxed in Brazil, posing a problem as there's a risk of paying for shipping and then facing an additional charge of over 90% of the item value. What measures are in place to address this issue? So Brazil, actually, I remember from filling out all the information with our fulfillment partner, was a special case, but they were able to, I'm looking for the file over here. They are able to ship there, and in fact, I think this is one of the cases where the duties could be prepaid. Let me double check. I mean, yeah, the short answer, I can't find the information right now. The short answer is when you're at checkout, based on where you are located, it will either tell you that you can prepay duties, and that should then go through without issue, or that you will have to pay duties on receipt of the item, in which case it could be that they try to charge you 90% for the item, but I would be shocked. I think most of the duties are 20% around the world. So yeah, I don't know the exact answer right now, but I'm pretty sure, basically from our fulfillment partner's perspective, like they do a ton of paperwork to make sure the stuff gets where it's supposed to with as little hassle as possible. Best answer I can give you. Marcus Kearns. Thank you. Oh, there's a spelling. There's a, yeah, phonetic. Thank you. Microcurrents. What has been the biggest surprise regarding something you felt you had fully planned out that you've encountered throughout the process? Oh God, all of it. So honestly, when I got to the Kickstarter campaign, I was feeling pretty confident that I had a handle on what it would take to manufacture the dice. I had done a lot of preparations, put a lot of documents together with like very detailed, you know, step by step, what I thought was necessary for manufacturing the dice, and I was not completely wrong, but completely underestimated, you know, the complexity, the difficulty, right? I often describe the manufacturing process, or sorry, the coming up with a manufacturing process as, you know, pretending that you need someone who doesn't give a crap about your item to make your item perfectly for you, right? So like, if something can be half-assed, it's going to be, unless there's like a process in place to make sure it doesn't happen. And it's something we run into all the time, right? Like, in the end, items are put together by workers that are no idea really what they're doing other than repeating the same process. And yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been but yeah, anyway, so you know, very generic answer. Everything is more complicated than you think, always. On Google form from Ines, I can't change my email address on Kickstarter, or can I even get access to the website or redeem my backer kit? Oops. Let me make sure I understand this. So most likely you will receive an email to the email address that is on Kickstarter. If you can, you know, if you receive emails, right? So if you use like a, I don't know, an anonymizer or whatever for your emails, like Apple or Outlook do, but you still receive emails, you basically won't have an issue, right? The begin reward redemption email that we send you, you know, when you click on that link, it will paste the email that we think you have into that field, and just don't change it, and then you'll be good to go. If you do not receive emails from Kickstarters, but you remember what your Kickstarter email is, right? So like, maybe you can't change it and you're not getting the emails or whatever. Like, if you know what it is in there, you can just go to the website, my account, and then create an account with that email, and the process will work just the same, right? So there's nothing magical about the email we send you, other than it really just notifies you to go to the website and put in the correct email. Another question from Darren on Google form. Yes. I signed up to back Pixel to Kickstarter via my Apple account. Okay, so this is basically the same question of like, you know, I can't change my email or have a weird account email, etc. Yeah, it's really, if you either receive our email or you know what the actual email that is in Kickstarter is, you're good to go. You know, if none of these things work, or you really are completely lost, we will have a form on the website for you to, like, you know, request access and provide us with information so we can make sure that you know, you get the right thing at the right place. But yeah, either way, you know, don't sweat it. We'll sort you out. We'll make sure that, you know, you can redeem your rewards. Another was Oh, I never got the email from the new website, pledge fulfillment website that was supposed to port over our info from Kickstarter, right? So the emails have not gone out, so that's completely normal. So you will receive it on Monday the 1st, and not Monday the 1st, Monday the 8th, and you should be able to redeem your rewards. Another one, basically same theme. You know, apparently the updates from Kickstarter quit coming to me after March of 2022. How do I get set up for my rewards? So, you know, the same general thing. If you know your Kickstarter email, or sorry, actually, no, that's not right. This is, you're not getting updates from Kickstarter. We will send you an email directly to your email. So that should cover it. We're not sending through Kickstarter. We'll send you a reminder through Kickstarter, right? Like as a monthly update, but the email with the link goes directly to you. Okay, one more on Twitch. Oh, getting to the live questions. Can you also use different addresses in case you and some friends all chipped in on the backer payment? So this is related to the split shipping. No, you cannot. Sorry. And you can't just split any way you want, right? Like it's literally, if you click the option, it's going to separate, you know, singles from the rest of your order, so they can get to you faster. On YouTube, Mary Oana, does shipping to Canada also bring the import duty? I believe Canada, let me look really quick. I had to look this up. Shipping, oh, there it is. I'm looking at my spreadsheet. So for Canada, it is, yes, it will include duties. You will have to pay duties on checkout, but they are, let me look really quick. The actual rate. The rate I think Canada is not as bad as Europe. That the rate's actually pretty low. Let me look. I have the information now. All right, CA. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember this. There's different rates depending on which state you're in. So like for instance, British Columbia, it's a 7% tax rate, but if you're in New Brunswick, it's 10%. If you're in etc. Right? Let's see, Ontario 8%. Yeah, Saskatchewan 6%. How about that? It's the best in Canada. But yeah, so you will see that on the checkout. Let me see. Next, Ninja Weasel. I've seen you on something lately. Are you on our Discord? You probably are. Maybe not. Anyway, what sort of platform integration module are you working at? Are we looking at launch? VTT D&D 1. So the one that I can say for sure is Foundry VTT. The D&D one I can't speak too much about. Only that it will not be at launch. D&D Beyond is big, let's just say that. And they have a lot of things going on, so I'll just leave it at that for now. We're, you know, it's a little light compared to what I would have hoped for launch, but it's gonna get better. There's actually lots of cool integrations coming. YouTube, you should use Foundry BTT anyway. It's the best. And YouTube. Oh, Vermilion the Vile. Will there be themed programs that we can add to the dice? Christmas color, St. Patrick's Day. Yes, absolutely. Here, let me see if I can demo some of this. while I, sort of wait for more questions, I am grabbing our test app. There's a Pixel app, which I will show you here. That is a new release coming in a few days or a few weeks. That looks really awesome, and it allows you to customize profiles. Oops, sorry, I'll move it here. I don't want to do a full demo here today, but it's really sweet. I'm selecting, what roles, what plays, on based on which roles you have, and then selecting different, patterns to play, and there's a bunch of patterns that are already there. There's tons and tons of stuff, right? The idea is these dice are completely customizable, right? Oh God. My other phone just got a bunch of notifications. We also have our, not this one, Dev Toolbox. The toolbox that I've shown in the past that's actually used in the, oh God, there's too many, 35 pixels. All right, well, I won't be able to demo this today because it's finding way too many pixels. Yes, so I have a bunch of pixels here, and it won't, it's gonna take me way too long to actually, pair each one and figure out what to do. Good problems to have, right? So anyway, let me answer the question, which is, right, obviously, yes, you will be able to customize to your heart's content, and the app will come with a bunch of pre-made, we call them profiles, which are the set of rules and associated animation patterns that will, determine how the dice animate. Right? You can see this one over here. Is that it? Which one was it? This one. Yeah, this one here has a different pattern. Yeah, than this one here. Right. So this one is like I call that one the waterfall. Right, and this one here is like more like a spinning. It's actually supposed to be a more of a spiral. Yeah. But yeah, there's tons and tons of them, and including just plain colors, a bunch of rainbows, a bunch of different things. Yeah, so lots of options. In fact, I should just play with those while I answer questions, but I always forget. Yeah, I should move it on this side. So anyway, one more question from YouTube, from Alistair Collinson. What are your plans for sharing animations and stuff like that? The website mentions something about that under forum. Can you elaborate? Yes, I can. Absolutely. The medium to long term goal is, once you have an account, you can store patterns and profiles and rules and whatnots, and then share them with other people in the pixel community or whatever we want to call it. But of course that all has to be implemented, and for the moment we're just focusing on the single experience of you using your dice and customizing them before we start diving into sharing online and how all that stuff works, right? But yeah, I would love for it to be where you can discover new patterns that people have made, and then download them, put them on your dice, or specific rules for like a type of character that you've made, or that kind of stuff. So ideally it happens soon, but honestly it's focusing on getting the pixels out, making sure the integrations work, and making sure that you can customize your own dice before we start adding a bunch of cloud stuff, right? Next question, on Twitch, Blind Man Pyro. That's funny. Just wanted to say thank you for this wonderful idea of yours. As a gamer who is 100% blind, I really appreciate this. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I hope also to be able to do more of a demo of accessibility features in a future stream. We've seen them. I approached them in the initial Kickstarter campaign. Obviously, if you're mostly blind, the lights have less impact on you. It depends on well, you're 100% blind, yeah, from reading the question. So the lights have really very little advantage for you, but the Bluetooth part obviously is a big deal. I'm hoping that we get to the point where we can start making like Apple Watch apps instead of using your phone, right? And so you don't even need your phone to have your dice tell you what you rolled. That would be super cool. But again, it's just down the line. And also I just want to mention future plans. I absolutely would like to make a cheaper Bluetooth only version of Pixels, right? That's focused on just basically just the Bluetooth part, right? So it can be cheaper to manufacture and for what am I call it? For people to cheaper for people to get, basically, if all they want is the Bluetooth feature. On Twitch, Ryogi Shiki 99. We can add more to our orders still, right? Yes, you can. You can absolutely, and you will get the additional 15 plus 15% discount. So I encourage you to. On Twitch, the Rebel. Oh, I've seen you. Hi. I assume the ability to add your own patterns is still there in the new app. Yes, it is. We are in fact I don't know what you want to call it, redesigning the way it will work. So it's easier to make patterns for the different shapes of dice. So for instance, this pattern, the spinning one here, let me do it again. Right, this one actually is compatible with all different shapes, right? So even if you have a D12 or a D6 and you put that same pattern on it, it will actually do the same. I think this one has the pattern. Yeah, see, so this is a D8. And of course it doesn't look as good because it only has 8 LEDs in it here. But it's supposed to be doing the same pattern as on the D20. And it was only authored once in terms of the app, which is not something the Unity version, like the current version that's available, supports. You would have to like control every LED manually. So you'll still be able to control every LED manually, but basically we're thinking of it in terms of combining patterns, putting things together that is easier to create your own custom things without having to constantly go like, okay, so wait, now I want face 9 followed by face 11 and then 4, right? No. To instead go, okay, I want sort of a spinny thing, and then I want to add this flashy thing, and then I want to add this blinky thing, and these colors and these timings, and so you can author them in a friendlier way. YouTube, Nexus Labs. I'm curious if the toolbox will ever be available to developers. Yes. I don't even know why it isn't already, to be honest. But yeah, most definitely, because it is super useful for a lot of additional information. So let's say if I go here and I connect to it, I did actually connect to this one. It shows me a bunch of information, including temperature, which is funny. I don't know what you can do with it, but you can do something with it. It shows internal temperature, signal strength, more details. Like, it's super useful for debugging. So, and let's see, can I find, oh, there it is. I had it blink, right? This is the, hey, where are you? So yeah, I can blink it. Let's see, do we have a bunch of other options? Yeah, there we go. See, making it play a rainbow. Can't remember, there's other stuff. Rainbow all faces. Yeah, so this is just all the LEDs the same color. And then a bunch of stuff. There's stuff that's specific to the factory, like print label. Well, that only works if you have a Bluetooth label printer. But anyway, but yeah, so the answer is yes. Will the website store convert to our country's currency? No. It was just too much for me to make sure all that worked. So everything is shown in USD, and when you pay, whatever payment you're using, we'll do the conversion for you. So if you do a Visa, then you know your bank will tell you how much things are, etc. On YouTube, Adrian TP, non-pixels questions. How do you pronounce your name? Jean, like denim, or Jean, like the French pronunciation. So it is French. So it is Jean. I usually reference Star Trek, right? Jean-Luc Picard, or Jean Valjean from Les Mis recently. Thank you. But honestly, you know, I've lived enough places that, you know, my name's been butchered many ways, and I don't begrudge anyone for it. So it's not a problem. On Twitch, Will Grams. Question, how are you making sure everyone gets their original order before adding to their order? Is there that much extra stock already? Yes and no. Essentially, it doesn't take us long to make extra stock now that we're sort of, you know, in full production and everything. Yeah, I don't know if that's a very good answer for you. You know, we're talking about tens of thousands of dice, right? So if you add to your order, it's not going to affect production that much. Maybe if you're the last one to redeem, right, your rewards, it will take you know, a month longer than it would have otherwise if everybody else adds a bunch of dice to their, you know, but I can't really imagine the impact will be too big. Honestly, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Like we've built this whole thing with the purpose of moving directly to like production for non-backers. So yeah, the production plan is large. I guess it's the best way I can put it. Dang Panda. Uh-oh. Game with Pixels, blank dice. Let us etch or add our own overlay for custom designs. Yes, they will come. It's not something that I will start on until, you know, after we finish backer rewards. But there's many plans for you know, new products, designs, accessories, you know, things like that to have. And one of the big ones is dice cores, which is what I call them, which essentially would be just the inside of the dice with a minimal casting, so it protects everything, but small enough that you can still cast your own. Let me see if I have an example. We've shown pictures of it. Maybe we can find it. And then beyond that, I don't know. I know I would love to make blank dice, like as in like stealth dice, but I can't make any promises as to when, how, etc. It'll probably happen. I don't know the details at this point, or I haven't figured out the details at this point. Blind Man Paro, is there a specific app for which these are best used with? As I said, if you want to play online, Foundry will be the best, followed by Roll20, and those are mostly it, honestly. The other platforms, we haven't had much progress made, to be honest. If you're playing, so yeah, and if you're playing offline, then you don't need an app. You just basically customize your dice once, and then you can play, or you can just keep your phone or whatever you want. The Rebel. Will the old app remain when the new one is released? No, we plan to just replace it. For starters, because if you followed gaming news, Unity's been I don't know, awful lately, and I don't really want to support them. Unity is the game engine that I actually used to create the first version of the app. Yeah, I don't really want to use it anymore, but also because the new app will just be a complete superset of the existing one. And the new app should be available on as many platforms and more than the previous one. On YouTube, dang panda. Internal temperature would be good for monitoring battery health. That is precisely what it's there for to begin with. So yeah, that's exactly why it's even there. And in fact, that's why there's two measurements. I don't know if you can see it on the screen here, but there's the MCU temperature, because the main chip actually has a temperature sensor, a very inaccurate one, but it has one. And then there's a separate sensor for the battery itself. So when it charges, you can see it go up, and and in fact, we use it to turn off charging if it gets too hot, and the usual stuff you have to do with lithium polymer, lithium ion. But you could also make it that if you hold the die for a long time. Oh, actually, I can do this. Okay, I'm gonna hold it for a long time, see if the temperature goes up. You could do something with that, like it's accessible to the firmware. And currently, I haven't made any like rules that can use temperature, but I wouldn't be surprised if you could make it like if you make the die really hot, then it lights up a different color, right? On YouTube, Nexus Lab, is there here's a weird one for you. Have you considered what the afterlife of pixels could be, like uses for the internals after the battery? So maybe a new use for the board, or a way to encourage open source reuses. I know that would require destroying the case, but once the battery dies, it would be interesting to see ways to prevent e-waste through reuse. So e-waste is my biggest disappointment with dice. Just from their construction, they're literally cast in resin, right? So it's not a case around electronics, and that was very important for the feel of the dice. Like I had most of the knockoff dice that you can find that have LEDs or whatnot, they work just like that. It's a case, and then there's electronics inside. If you hold them or you try to roll them, you will regret it very quickly. It feels rattly. It feels like you're it just feels awful. So pixels are not like that at all. They're cast like like custom resin dice, right? Like you would get from a dice maker. But unfortunately, that means they can't be recycled as is, right? You have to use some chemicals to get rid of the epoxy, and then separate the electronics. And yeah, it's something that I'm disappointed by. But at the moment, I can't think of a good way to sort of make it more reuse friendly. On the flip side, the dice always work as dice, right? If once the battery dies and they no longer light up, which will take a really long time, right? Because even LiPo batteries don't just die, right? They just have a shorter and shorter lifespan, right? Or what do you call it? They just stay recharged for less and less time, but they don't just outright die. But when they do eventually, you'll just have dice. The Robo, this might have been asked before, but what was the impetus that gave you the inspiration to think of these beautiful creations? Oh, thank you for the question. I think I may have answered that before. It was very organic, to be honest. For me, it started as the challenge, and then I sort of found my community, right? Found my niche. Because the first dice I made were just 6-sided dice. and it wasn't until I actually showed them and shared them at a convention. It was at the Maker Faire, I believe. Whoa, what's the lighting? Oh, it's the phone. I was like, what's the phone doing? The Maker Faire in San Mateo. Yeah. Somebody came in and was like, oh my God, dude, are you going to make a D20? And immediately we became, best friends. And you understand, basically. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I could totally do it. Yeah. So that's what happened. and then I kept sharing the progress. And that's also how wireless charging came about, and several other features of the dice. Essentially, it was just from being open about my process. So once again, I just highly encourage, share what you're working on. Don't be afraid. If it's not perfect, it's usually beneficial. So how are we on temperature? Not that much higher. 28.94 for this guy. So holding it didn't make the temperature go too high. Are the dice compatible? Oh, this is from Kale 79. Are the dice compatible with Bluetooth USB keys? I'm not sure I understand the question, but they are Bluetooth devices, and I don't know what Bluetooth USB keys are. You mean Bluetooth USB keyboards? And do you mean like a lighting scheme for Bluetooth keyboards or something? I'm not sure. If you could clarify, then maybe I'll have a better answer for you. When is the Pixel app coming out? We're talking a week or two. Admiral Matt on YouTube also. Is there an API or something that could allow the dice to post their results to a Discord chat? Yes, there is, but not specifically to Discord yet. So I actually want to, I would love for someone to actually work on that. Surprisingly, out of the dev kit recipients, no one's actually started to make one, to my great disappointment. But yeah, because there's, the API is there for JavaScript, TypeScript, etc. And the app itself has web requests that it can send now based on the roles. So there's absolutely no reason you can either do a Discord app mod plugin, I don't know what they're called, add-on, or just a your phone post to Discord, kind of thing. Riley Langley Lacey. You know what? If somebody wants to actually work on this, message me on Discord, and then we'll figure out a way to get you to work on it. Maybe if you have experience with TypeScript APIs and Discord, whatever bots and things like that. Yeah, we can talk. Riley Langley Lacey. I know VTT is a bit of a thing to get working, but can we get the raw roll data if we want to use that data somewhere else? Google Sheet, Excel, custom programs, etc. Yes. So the most generic way will be using basically web requests, which is like you type in the, actually, is it in here? Let me see if it's on this preview that I have here. Hold on 1 second. My die is rolled. Nope, it's not on this one. Damn it. Where is it? Tap to enable. Yes. Yes. So actually, if I move my die here, so when I don't know, when we select, basically what it will be is like when you make a certain roll and the die is connected to your phone, then you basically be able to plug in a URL and then pass in like the face as a parameter, right? And that could be the basis for anything you want. Then if you want to be fancier, you could make your own web Bluetooth app, which is how, for instance, Foundry works right now. and you know, do more things, right? Like actually control the dice, and you know, you can do lots of things. Let me get back on track. Sorry. Yes, lots of questions today. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm glad to answer them all. On YouTube, Dan Panda. Just thought about something, recasting a new shell around the current dice. That might work. Yes, although you might have issues with the recharging, right? So at the bottom of the pixels, if I take this one, for instance, there's a coil. This one is visible, but on the ones you will get, they will not be. Let me find one. Well, except if you get the clear one. But on... I don't have one. These are early samples. Let me find a... just because I want to show the difference. 1 second. I cannot find it. Where are you, die? Oh, they're right here. There we go. These are more recent. So here is a more recent one, right? So this is the same face. So you can actually see the coil. But what was I going to say? So yeah, so at the bottom of the dice, there's a coil that's used for the wireless recharging. And actually, because those coils are so small, because the dice are so small, it needs to be really close to the charger coil, right? So if you do, here, I'm grabbing like a charging case here. Oh, well, this one has inserts in them. I wanted to show you one without insert. 1 second. One moment, please, while I find a thing. Push the thing out. Nope, can't find it. Well, anyway, the answer is, yeah, there's a coil underneath the charger, right? And underneath the insert here. And so those two coils have to line up and be pretty close, like in millimeters. So if you cast around the die, you might have some recharging issues. That's all. But it'd be worth a try. On YouTube, the Helix effect? Helix effect? Yeah, Helix effect. The Helix effect. I don't know, something like that. Yeah. Do backers have the option of not redeeming in wave 1 to see if the problems stopping the colored large cases can be resolved? So the colored large cases were never going to be an option at like as a redeeming your reward, like changing the color of the set you get. It was hopefully I'm not misremembering how I put it in the Kickstarter, but it was a kit, like you would buy shells of different colors if you wanted to replace the colors of your charging case. So because otherwise it would lead to just too many combinations, right? In between the different colors, the different sets, and then adding different case colors, it would just be insane for us to keep track of. So it's always been my plan, and I'm pretty sure I was clear on the campaign when I mentioned those, but if I wasn't, my apologies. So the colored case mods, if you want, or, you know, shells essentially will be like just cheap, you know, just set of the plastic parts of a case that you will be able to buy and replace, you know, yourself, because, you know, we are tinker friendly. So you'll just, you know, need a screwdriver and you can replace the plastic parts to make your case a different color. I hope I answered that. So, but right now we're just making the tooling for the cases, so I couldn't possibly show you what those colors would look like real colors, right? The black, it's different, it's easier. So yeah, so for now, just to be 100% clear, everything comes in black, like Batman would want it. And then in the future, I don't know exactly when, but we're talking maybe a couple months or more. we'll start offering, you know, shell kits, sets, whatever we want to call them, right, for you to replace the color of your cases. On Twitch, Ryogi Shiki 99. Will you guys work to make a specific game dice in the future, like Aeons, Trespass, Odyssey, or Kingdom Death? Oh my god, Kingdom Death. Yes and no. Yes, we want to, 100%. No, because specific dice for specific intellectual properties could be an issue. So unless it's a collaboration with the makers of that, or that it's clear that there is no infringement of any sort. Like if we put a lantern on a D10, right, for Kingdom Death, maybe it's clear, maybe it's something we can do and no one gets in trouble, but you know, we would have to research that. And then I mean, my preference would be for collaborations anyway, right? So I hope that answered that. On YouTube, Kale79, are the dice compatible with Bluetooth USB keys? Edit dongle Bluetooth. Oh, yes, no. So USB keyboards usually have a dongle. I understand the question. I think I understand the question now. If it's a Bluetooth dongle and it allows you to connect to Bluetooth things like speakers, microphones, whatever, then yes, it will work. If it's a proprietary, wireless dongle, but not necessarily Bluetooth, like which one is it? I think some keyboards, especially like Logitech keyboards, use a proprietary wireless dongle, then it's not going to work. Basically, yeah, if you can see Bluetooth devices on your computer, then the dice will work directly with it. Okay, yeah, I think that's great. Will Graham's question, is there an SDK? Yes, there are many SDKs actually. Pick your language. So if you go to our GitHub, GameWithPixels, or GitHub/GameWithPixels, hopefully someone will post the link on the chat. There's like links to all the different SDKs for the dice, right? Like the Pixels is, we're trying to share everything that we do. The only reason some information might not be out there is purely because of time, or haven't taken the time to do it or whatever, right? But you can have access to everything, including, for instance, the firmware C code, the app, TypeScript stuff, mostly everything. So yeah, if you can find what you're looking for. Oh, I see. Rephrase. Will Grams, is there a Kotlin SDK? No. Although, isn't Kotlin compatible with the Java library? Because right now we have a Java / an Android SDK. And I believe if you write in Kotlin, you probably can just interop with it. Olivier, our developer, would know more than me. But yeah, I think you can use it with Kotlin, basically. And if not, I know it's one of those things that, you can nerd snipe any good developer into looking into, right? Like, don't you want to try Kotlin? so yeah, we'll feel free to, if you're really serious about developing with it, get on our Discord. In the developer sections, you can actually talk with Olivier directly, our developer, and start a conversation about Kotlin and all that. Adrian on YouTube, how have the internal electronics changed throughout the manufacturing journey? Oh, the electronics changes throughout the manufacturing journey affected the randomness or fairness of the dice? Not at all. So, and the reason I answer this with a smirk is because the question of fairness is very common with the dice. And the assumption is that the distribution of weight and densities of the different components and things is going to have an effect on the balance and the fairness of the dice. And while that is technically true, it's not something that you will experience until you've rolled tens of thousands of times, assuming everything else is perfect. And when I say everything else, I mean assuming the shape of the die is a perfect, what do you call it? Not primary shape, but like, you know, cubes and dodecube, you know, platonic shape. Because what affects the quality, the fairness of your rolls in practice is the sharpness of your edges and the shape of your faces, like, sorry, the relative angles of your faces. Like, if you have a rounded edge, your die is much more likely to roll over than if you have a really sharp edge, right? And so you can extrapolate from this sort of this notion that actually, yeah, the shape of your edges has way more impact on the overall balance of your, no, sorry, fairness of your die than the weight distribution, right? So it's basically, once you have accounted for the fairness, sorry, the perfect shape of your die, then you can worry about the weight distribution, right? The only reason, you know, not pipped, what are they called? The, you know, like cheating dice, you know, are a thing in Vegas movies and stuff, is because it's Vegas, right? And so on the long, you know, on the long term, you know, they will pay off. But anyway, so that's the answer. The short answer is it doesn't matter. Lily Hidomi, yes. Can I store the dice in their case all the time, or will I have to remove them to keep the battery from dying too soon? No, it's better to keep them in the case, actually. They will go to sleep by themselves after a while if you leave them out. But when they're in the case, they actually go to even sort of deeper sleep, in a sense. They're like, I don't know how to say it, but like, yeah, they're turned off, in essence, by the magnet that's in there, and that saves even more power than if they were just going to sleep. But even if you leave them on like your table for weeks, they won't lose a charge. And all these dice that I have here that are all turning on, I haven't charged in, well, since we manufactured them, actually. So the battery will last a really long time if you roll them right. Nexus Labs, are the raw Bluetooth protocols available somewhere? Yes. You may have to dig a little bit into code to find them at the moment, but you know, eventually you will write a nicer documentation with, like, you know, code agnostic specification. But yeah, they're available, at least if you care to dig for them at the moment. On YouTube, Alistair Collinson, will STL files for the cases be available to 3D print yourself? Yes. The only reason they are not is because I haven't taken the time to like package and publish them nicely. But again, there's no reason that they shouldn't be available. Dang Panda, we can swap out case outers, but do we have access to electronics themselves? I am thinking of taking apart an extra case and making a display that can charge the dice. Yes, you can, and I hope you will, and that when you do, you will share it with us, and, you know, maybe get on our Discord and share it with people. I absolutely want you to do this. In fact, the cases, the small and the big ones, are built. Here, I'm just going to put that here. Are built in a way that they're easy to what's the word I'm looking for? Easy to take apart. So, for instance, you know, here I have this is a old version of the circuit board. Let me show you a cooler new version. Where is it? Essentially, so this is what it looks like now. It's black, it's beautiful. and it's got, you know, writing and stuff. But yeah, so basically you'll be able to just take it out and put it in whatever you want. And hopefully with the STL files and stuff, you'll know your dimensions and everything that you can do with these. So yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in tinkering and, you know, letting people take your things apart. So I, in fact, made it a point, insisted that we use metallic inserts for the case screws, because I want people to be able to disassemble the case and reassemble it as many times as they want. What color scheme is closest to the dice? Oh, answered. Okay. Answered in chat. Okay, cool. You too. Jean, my question was to connect the dice with my desktop PC, which does not have Bluetooth connected. Okay. I think I mostly answered that. You might need a dongle. Yeah. Praxis. Hi, Praxis. How are you? How resilient is the resin to chipping or smoothing out? I mean, sorry. Oops. Let me see if I can be in the frame. The resin, it's like any resin dice. It's epoxy resin, so it's the harder kind that you can get. No, actually, there probably is harder than epoxy. Yes, I believe that's correct. But it is, yeah, it is epoxy resin. You know, it's gonna scratch if you try too hard, but it's not gonna scratch in most cases. I wish I could answer that better. There's nothing special about the resin. It's, if you bought a set of you know, dice from a dice maker, like a, you know, like a creator, it's basically the same, you know, toughness, hardness. I think we did test the hardness at some point, but I can't remember the number we got. You know, the Shore D or Shore, whatever it's called. It's, you know, these dice are made, you know, by a factory that specializes in, you know, resin dice. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. But yeah, sorry, I don't have a more specific answer, like, you know, oh, it's a shortness D blah 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 thing, right? Dangpen, I don't remember if you answered it, but what safeguards are there to prevent overcharging? Oh, there's a bunch of chips inside that prevent overcharging. So there's like a specific battery protection chip. Then there's the battery charging management chip. And both of those will cut off if, you know, well, one will cut off if the temperature is too high. The other one will cut off if the voltage gets too high. And, you know, there's double, basically, protections. And even if they didn't work out, those dice are so small, I don't know what would happen. I don't think much would happen if you overcharge it. Anyway, all right, we're getting, I think, maybe to the last few questions here. Dragbot, what set would you say came out just as you imagined? That's a good question. Honestly, my favorite set is the RPG set. I think it's just because. So in terms of colorways, it's probably easiest to answer. The Midnight Galaxy, this one here, is my favorite by far. It looks amazing in all lights. You know, when it's off, it looks, you know, sparkly. When it's on, it looks super bright. It's fantastic. They're all, you know, they're my children. They're all beautiful, obviously, and I love them all equally. But I think I love Midnight Galaxy the most equally of all. I do really enjoy Onyx for like the, I don't know, it's just really, there's something really really sharp about just black dice, right? Just nice black, nice polish dice. Honestly, you know, Aurora Sky is just so bright. It's super cool. It's like, I don't know why it's brighter than the clear. Is this one on? Let me find a clear. Oh yeah. It's, for some reason, the clear has less material, like preventing the light, but it just like doesn't look as bright as the Aurora Sky. I think let me refocus here for a second. There we go. Love the clear because of showing the internals. It's just so cool. And hematite, it's just like, I don't know. It's like, it's really fun to have those two, like hematite and onyx, be like where the light only shines through the numbers. It's just, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to decide. But after this one, Midnight's my favorite by far. Sorry, my most equally loved. And then the other four are second. Which one comes next? It's hard to say. I have a sweet spot for the clear, just because of that. But yeah, let's see. Oop. Turn this off. Yes, all the circuits are KiCad. Yes, they are. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, Nixus is a note from Nixus. Yeah, KiCad or KiCad or however you pronounce it. I started using it, ended up loving it, and so didn't find any reason to move to something more complicated. Really, it does everything I need. On YouTube, Shinotama, what are the Onyx Black made of on the outside? I asked this to see how much they might chip, etc. Oh, okay. So as I was just talking about, they're all made of epoxy resin, right? So inside and outside, essentially. There's no painting going on of the black part. There's a little bit of paint that goes into the numbers to make them more visible when the die is off. Let me see if I can find an example. Yeah, so this one here doesn't have it's an older prototype, doesn't have the numbers painted. And so while the inner resin is tinted a little bit white, it's not nearly as visible, right? You can see the 3 over there is not as visible as the 3 on the D20. So there's a little bit of paint that goes into the numbers. Of course, not too much because otherwise they wouldn't shine. But otherwise, it's just epoxy resin with, black dye. What about battery expansion can occur with age, like in some Samsung phones? Yeah. I think the answer to that, sorry, this is on YouTube from Neverin3. So I have never seen an issue with battery expansion on these. And I think the reason is there's enough stuff around it that if it did ever expand, stuff would, what's the word I'm looking for? Not shrink, but compress around it. But yeah, I think mainly the reason nothing's happening is because the batteries are so small. We're talking like less than a centimeter cube, right? So there's really not much going on, and out of several thousands of dice so far, nothing's ever gone wrong. Let's see. Nexus Lab. Thanks so much for keeping everything so open. So the whole way through. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, this is Nexus Lab. I remember following back when Hackaday first talked about it, and it's good to see a project actually stick with open source. Thank you. You would not believe the number of people that have suggested the opposite, right? I think there's a general fear of being copied or ideas stolen, etc. And it's very difficult to fight that urge to protect your stuff, especially when you start seeing a few, like, I don't know, copycats here and there or some competition. You're like, oh my god, this is scary. But for me, at least in my experience, right, limited experience, I have gained so much more by being open about the project and sharing as much as possible than any risk of copying or not sharing, right? Being my stuff getting copied or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but yeah, for me it's almost a non-brainer, right? A no-brainer. It's just the benefits far outweigh the costs. Will there be other merchandise in the future? Yes, both in terms of just branded merchandise, but also in terms of new, accessories or new designs, new things, right? Although I guess if you say merchandise, you might mostly mean branded stuff. Yeah, I don't know how much demand there is for things like, shirts or hats, but stickers for sure, like pins, things like that. Maybe mouse pads, or not mouse pads, like rolling mats or things like that. Feel free to let us know. Yeah, if there's something that you would love to see. Yeah, it's only a matter of, deciding to do it and taking the time to do it. Yeah, let me hide this so not everybody sees my emails, I guess. YouTube, Shinotama, I know I missed it also, but just to confirm, I can use these with my PC directly rather than always via my phone. Yes. So if your PC has Bluetooth, you can. On YouTube, Mr. Transcended. Transcended? Yeah. I'm going to be making custom wood oak. Oh, yeah. Have I seen you on Discord? I'm going to be making custom wood oak pine cases using the current finalized internals. Will you be publishing CAD for the cases? Yes. Apologies that I have not done it already. And then and then the final question for the moment from Dank Panda: the copycats out there are no good. Yes, that is so true. You know what? While I wait for any more questions to come in, I'm going to grab copycat. Where are they? I have them. I have them. Oh no. Where did I put them? Don't mind me. I'm still here. Sorry. I actually don't know what I did. Oh, there they are. By the way, I can share this now because it's not happening, at least not right away, because we're shipping from Hong Kong. So maybe in the future, it's not happening now, so I can share it, but in the future, we'll make power banks for your dice. We were thinking about, we wanted to do this very early on, right? And really, we wanted to call them mana potions, because of course. But unfortunately, the restrictions on shipping power banks are just killing. Well, basically, we can't. So until we actually, get items to different warehouses in the world, so we can ship locally and by sea first and all that stuff, we can't do power banks. But eventually, in the future, we will. Once you're able to buy your dice directly, and you won't have to pay the import duties yourself, etc. We might make some power bank designs. But anyway, all right. So let me open one of these copycats. Oh, they're so good. There we go. Look at them. Look at them. So yeah. So if you look at them, so here is. I think there is a wireless version now, but these are wired, and so you have two little recharging pods here. Of course, the LEDs are not customizable, right? They're just always doing this red-green thing, and you can tell how they built this. It's there's two halves of the shell, and of course it's completely hollow, right? I'm shaking it next to the microphone. And they basically just painted the whole thing black and then lasered the numbers. I think that's what they do. So it's basically a translucent plastic, and then a black paint, and then they remove the paint to make the numbers shine through. Yeah, they're awful. And if you ever roll one, you can tell immediately, and it has this really terrible rolling sound. And maybe actually, you know what, let me see. Maybe I can bring the sounds. Let's do this while a few more questions come up. I want this sound and not this one. Okay, so for the moment, you're hearing me through the camera, this camera, and I will, hopefully it catches the sound well. So here is, we'll do a side by side. All right, so here is a pixel, here is the knockoff. If I roll pixel, it's probably going to be hard to hear. I don't know if you can hear the rattling, but yeah, you can hear it as it rolls, right? Pixels, you know, they're solid, like it just no sound. And these, but yeah. So anyway, you know, of course these are, you know, cost nothing, right, compared to ours, so I can't really blame them. But yeah, it's just not the same, I don't know, league, I suppose is what you'd say. It's you know, a different product. Yep. Anyway, all right, let me turn the microphone back. Okay. Yeah. Oh, but they do have another design. There we go. Same idea, and I think this one lights up yellow. So I mean, like I want to make a design like this at some point, or you know, whatever, like new designs. I just can't wait to make new designs, right? I think that's cool. But yeah, as far as how they feel, it's just, yeah, it's night and day. Anyway, all right, so let me finish with questions and then we'll close it out, right? I do this. Let me show you the mat on the other side. Whoops, sorry. This again, this is also a pre-release, you know, a version of the dice tray, but yeah, they're great. Focus. There we go. Let's see. All right, a couple more questions. Adrian TP, do you have a set of Go dice to compare to? No, I really want to. I really should order some. My understanding is that basically Go dice are only D6s, and then you put shells around them. So I suspect the feel is also kind of not hollow, but similar to these. Why is it not staying focused? I suspect that they might have not a great feel. What was I going to say? I was going to say something else about that. Yeah. On YouTube, Mr. Transcended, also much more than lights, right? Yes. Yes, all the coding options, the Bluetooth part, all the integrations, all that stuff. But even just on, you know, the lights, which is the first thing that, you know, people are gonna sort of see to compare them to. You know, it's kind of like what I tell people, right? Like the lights, the shiny is what gets people in, and then, you know, when you learn that, oh, they're also Bluetooth and you can customize them and you can connect them to your, you know, online games and stuff, you go, what? Oh, and they're, you know, wireless chargeable, and they waterproof, and, you know, so yeah, it's not the same. Cool. Let's see what else. Can you sell just the bare board of electronics? I probably will not sell just the bare boards of electronics, but we do have plans to sell cores, right? Which would be the electronics in basically like a smaller, like the core shape of the dice, so that you can cast your own. The problem is the electronics, they're flexible circuit boards and they're super fragile until you cast them in resin, right? And once you cast them in resin, they're indestructible, like literally. But before that, they're super fragile, and so I wouldn't want to sell them separately. Yes, so one more comment from Adrian TP on the tunnel connection between the phone to Foundry. So that's a very, very good topic. I probably will cover more in future, streams, updates, etc. Because it is super flaky on the GoDice thing. However, talking directly to Foundry requires that you use a Chrome-based browser and that you have a way to, I can't remember what it is, but like there's something about HTTPS, or it's like you have to do some setup, so it's not perfect. So we will be looking into essentially similar solutions. Just hopefully ours will be more robust than the one that they have, but I don't know enough about it. I just know that Olivia and I have talked about it a lot. In fact, I believe we're going to talk to Foundry about it very soon, like in more details, because we want them to be involved. Because yeah, it's the thing is, yeah, if you have everything set up, you're using the right browser, then you don't need your phone, and that's great, that's awesome. But in a lot of cases, it might actually be beneficial to just be able to use your phone as a tunnel/bridge, or relay, whatever you want to call it. Oh, sorry, Dan Pano, you meant Bare Electronics with the charging case. I don't know. I have not thought about it so far. So probably, maybe not. If we do, the price won't be a whole lot different from buying a charging case by itself, like with the plastic parts. So like for a hobby project, you probably can just buy a charging case separately once we start selling them, which we haven't yet. If you end up doing something where you need more quantities, we'll talk. But like in terms of plans that we already have, I wasn't planning on selling just electronics of the charging case at the moment. Yeah. Let me see. Let me, whoops, get rid of these pieces of crap and just roll a few more dice if I can, while I just wait for a few more minutes. And otherwise, I will close the stream. And thank you all. So, I hope you enjoyed these. Like I said, the Pledge Manager will open on Monday. You will receive an email, throughout the day. Don't start trying to contact us until Tuesday if something goes wrong, right? Just to just to save everybody headaches, all right? And also between now and then, a Kickstarter update will probably go up with sort of a summary of my demo, and basically how do you redeem your stuff, and then maybe a few of the common questions of like, hey, I didn't get my email, what should I do, or things like that. We want to make it as easy as possible. Hopefully it is. And on that note, I think I'm gonna thank you all for being here. This was a fairly busy stream today, actually. So thank you so much. Good luck on selecting your favorite colorways. And yeah, let us know if there's anything you need. And otherwise, I'll see you soon. Bye.